Hey guys, good morning. Today's January 10th, Wednesday, day 10 of Wise Up, a daily dose of wisdom from the book of Proverbs for your daily life. Have you ever heard this saying? There's a saying, and it used to be quoted so much that I think a lot of people actually believe and honestly believe that it's from the Bible. It says this: God helps those who help themselves. Have you ever heard that? Well, I'm not here to tell you that that's true. Because, well, really, it basically isn't, right? It isn't. First of all, it also isn't in the Bible. But what I want to do is take a look at something that Solomon says in chapter 10 that could maybe be misconstrued to mean that, right? Because that's not what Scripture teaches. That's not what Scripture says. But our verse today comes from Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4. It says this: a slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Sometimes I look at the decisions that I make or the decisions that other people make, and you look at those and you go, yeah, like that makes sense, right? Like if somebody eats healthy and exercises regularly, and they have a good, healthy checkup at the doctor's office, you go, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? But if somebody I guess on the other hand, if somebody eats donuts and goes to Hertz and eats fast food every day and is a couch potato and never does anything active, and then they go to the doctor to get a health checkup and the doctor's like, dude, you got some serious problems, and then they get mad about it and they get upset about it, or they beat themselves up about it, does that kind of make you go what? Do you hear yourself right now? Does that make sense? Or how often does that happen maybe in your life where you make a decision, you get frustrated about it, and you're like, why did I get mad about that? I totally should have seen that coming because I totally deserve that in a sense. It's just funny, right? But the Lord, in his infinite wisdom, gave King Solomon this thing to say, right? And it's so simple. It makes so much sense. When you're lazy and you're slack, and you're slacking in your duties, right? You're slacking on things. Don't be surprised when you receive the consequences of those things, right? Don't be surprised if you don't ever invest money when you're young to not have money for retirement when you're old. Don't expect to put into your body a bunch of junk food and sugar and all this stuff and expect to be a healthy person, right? All of these kinds of things. And he says, when you're lazy and you're slack, don't be surprised when you end up in poverty. And if you're diligent and you work hard, don't be surprised when you receive the good consequences of your work, right? That being said, this proverb is about hard work and it is about money, but it also isn't just about that, right? He's kind of drawing a comparison, and he's drawing a comparison really between a lot of different things. This is the fourth kind of verse in this chapter, but if you read the whole chapter, this is just one of a lot of different comparisons, right? Where he says, this, but this, and it's the opposite, right? Just the same way that we're looking at this. Slack hand brings poverty, but hard work or diligence brings riches, right? And so the chapter is full of all kinds of different comparisons just like that. And he's drawing those comparisons between who? Two types of people: those who live wisely and those who don't live wisely. So take a look at the whole chapter, the rest of the chapter today, and see that. And he isn't just saying, if you do this, this will happen. If you don't do this, this will happen. But in a way, it's also a charge to us to look at, what has God given me and what ought I do with it, right? Because if you can be irresponsible with money, or you can be responsible with money, you have to have money in the first place, right? So use that as an illustration to say, God's given you something, resources, a gift, a talent, your purpose. Are you going to be lazy, and will we be slack with it? Or will we be diligent? Will we work hard to bring that and express that faith, our purpose in our lives? Because God has given each one of us something. And it's a place, and we also have places that we can be making a difference. And maybe that's at church and our youth group, or that's at school in your class or in a team, or theater or your choir, or whatever it may be, your club, activity, your job, your work, whatever it might be. You have a place, and God's given you that place there. What are you going to do with the opportunity that you have there? Will you be like this Proverbs says here, have somebody with a slack hand? Will you be somebody with a diligent hand? Somebody who says, God, I see the opportunity that you've given me and the purpose that you've given me, and I value that. And I want to be wise just like you are and use that opportunity to bless other people and extend your love and grace to them. So that's something to think about today as we carry on. Are we being lazy and slack in what God has given us and who God has made us to be? Or are we being diligent and hard work to share God's love and His grace? Let's read through the scripture together. Let's meditate on it and think about it together today. And that's it. I'll see you guys at youth tonight, and really looking forward to it.